Good afternoon. My name is Narit Zewari, and the topic I will talk about today is the Kabuki Theater of Japan. This presentation is made for the subject Contemporary Society, Changes in Japanese Work Culture, given by Sensei Netloader. This presentation has been cut into the following 4 chapters and will take approximately 7 minutes. To understand Kabuki, one has to know what was being done prior to this style of theater. It mainly originated from a combination of 2 theaters called Bunraku and No. Bunraku is Japanese puppet theater featuring large custom-made wooden puppets, puppeteers who are on stage, and a chanter who speaks all the lines, as seen on the picture on the top right. Bunraku plays are based on tales or legends of past centuries, with the themes devoted to conflict between social obligations and human emotions. On the other hand, Note theater is structured around song and dance. This is the picture on the bottom right. The movement is relatively slow. Language is poetic. The tone is monotonous, and their costumes are rich and heavily decorated. The plots are usually drawn from legends, history, literature, and contemporary events. Themes often relate to dreams, supernatural worlds, ghosts, and spirits. Shortly after Bunraku had become well established, the new form of popular theater called Kabuki developed in the early 17th century. The genre was initially created to please townsmen who were looking for a raw, emotional, and extravagant art form to watch and indulge in. Legend has it that Kabuki was originated by an actress called Okuni, who lived around the end of the 16th century. On the picture in the bottom left, we can see an illustration of Okuni. She had been in attendance at the Grand Shrine of Izumo and achieved popularity with parodies of Buddhist prayers. She assembled around her a group of female performers who danced and acted with her. The style. Kabuki drew its material from plays written for No and Bunraku in the beginning. The exaggerated gestures of Kabuki are often attributed to the fact that in its early phases an attempt was made to imitate puppets from the Bunraku plays. Despite these exaggerated and styled gestures, Kabuki was less formal and distant than No, which remained largely the theater of the court and nobility. The performers. Kabuki was performed first by an all-female troupe, and after by younger boys. But due to the continuous sexual misconduct against the boys and the women, in 1652, men were chosen as the actors for Kabuki theater to prevent this from further happening. Kabuki actors were trained from childhood in singing, dancing, acting, and physical dexterity. The actors who play women parts are particularly skillful at suggesting the essence of a feminine personality through style gestures and attitudes. The costumes and the scenery. The costumes and makeup are elegant as well as very colorful. Musicians sometimes on stage and sometimes off stage generally accompany the performance. The most used instruments were and are shimasen, drums, gong, and rattles. But depending on the act, this changed between multiple more instruments. The stage used for Kabuki performances underwent various changes during the history of the art. But the same principles were observed after the middle of the 18th century. The first stages were very small, but with the rise of popularity, the stages had to be bigger due to the bigger performances. In the next video, I'll play a little part of the instrument shamisen, which for some people might sound familiar, but who doesn't hear it or didn't hear it yet, it's very interesting to hear. not going to play everything, but you get an idea. Again, at costumes and scenery, another highlight used in the Kabuki theater is the Hanamichi, also called a flowerway. It was a raised, narrow platform connecting the rear of the auditorium with the main stage. Actors often made their entrances on the Hanamichi and occasionally performed short scenes there as well. Kabuki features elaborate and beautiful scenic effects, including the revolving stage, which was developed in Japan before it was used in the West. This means using attributes to create an atmosphere where the performance felt even more real. This is a picture of how the Kabuki theaters used to look, and on the left side, you will see the Hanamichi. There's another little video of how they use the attributes to make it seem as if the people are swimming.
The dynamic Kabuki stage is equipped with an impressive variety of mechanical devices. These are even more impressive considering that they were developed in an age without the benefit of electricity and were originally all operated manually. The integration of all the preceding elements makes Kabuki a particularly rich reflection of Japan and the character of the Japanese people. Here are some highlights from Kabuki plays with a more contemporary flair which are popular among audiences today.
So today, the picture which you see on the slides currently was taken actually today on the 15th of June, where I visited the Ginza Kabukiza Theater. Here they still perform daily with full theaters visited by people from all over Japan. What stood out for me was that many people were wearing traditional kimonos themselves to immerse themselves fully in the experience of Kabuki. Going to one of these shows is still on my to-do list during my stay in Japan, and I hope I will find time for myself to go there, and I'm very excited for it. Thank you for listening, and this was my presentation.